We're all on our own. The grave is lonely, but living is worse.
What the fuck are you?
A man who wanted to be a god, then changed his mind.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Frankenstein's podcast, where it's all about the monster. We're a creature feature podcast about monsters and why we love them. I'm one of your hosts, Joe Praska, and with me always is
your other host, Khalid Hussein.
What's up, Khalid?
What up, Joe?
How's it going?
It's going good. Just a busy work week. I'm about to fly back to the old Minnesota again for a wedding, so I'm just taking care of a few things before then, but other than that, doing good. How about you?
I'm pretty good. I was just noticing how we say like "What's up" and then "How's it going?" Like they're like two separate questions. Like "What's up" is like almost like a hello at this point.
Yeah, "What's up" is a hello.
Yeah, you're probably right. Okay, Khalid, I got to tell you, I had a dream about you.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
Okay, so I did tell you a little bit about this, but I just like it's been like permeating in my brain. Like ever since you talked about like the fact that you're directing and how like badass it is, I had this dream that you took me on like a directing shoot of yours. Like you're like, I need to take you to my set. And we went to your set and it was nighttime and it was a river and you were directing Nick Cage and Gene Hackman on a raft in the river surrounded by fire. And we all like watched the scene. I can't remember what the scene was, but like the scene ended and like everybody cheered. And we're all like, you just directed Nick Cage in the scene of his lifetime.
Yeah, when you described it to me, I was in a rush this morning, so I didn't really get to sit with it until a couple hours after. But then when I finally like really read it, I was like, that's a lot of pressure, man.
So I like that was in my dream and it just sat with me all day. Plus, you also lived in a Home Depot.
See, that's more doable than directing Nicolas Cage and the performance of his life.
I got to balance you out for like what's attainable and what's not, but like I don't know. Yeah, it was wild. Like I remember like it just like stuck with me. The problem is I don't remember what the scene was, but I remember like after the fact being like, "Oh, he just like he did it." I don't know.
I'm into it. Yeah. It's happening. That's manifest it for me, Joe.
That's why I'm saying it on recording here. Like I'm manifesting it for you. Like you're gonna. The Gene Hackman bit. Like I know that's out of the question now, but like the Nick Cage bit could still happen.
Yeah, you're more ambitious about my filmmaking career than I am, and I love that. I do.
How's directing going?
Good. We have one more scene to shoot, like a full scene. But then the first part of this project will be done. I don't want to get too into the weeds with it just yet since it's still kind of a work in progress, but I will just say that it's all so far so good. Like really like blessed with the crew I got and with the talent in front of and behind the camera. It's really just like mind blowing that this many people would come together for me, little me, but they did, and it's hopefully going to turn out great.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. You got to take your podcasting partner to the Oscars someday.
I will definitely take Nikki to the Oscars one day.
Correct answer. I got a question for you, Khalid.
What's up?
What do you call an alien magician on a plane?
What do you call an alien magician on a plane?
Yeah, like an airplane.
Yeah. Are they flying it?
Doesn't matter.
I truly don't know. It's too many variables. What is it?
A flying sorcerer.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Kind of. That's kind of. Yeah. Kind of.
You don't get it. You don't get it. So, Khalid, I do got to tell you. There was a Spanish-speaking magician that did a magic show once, and he said "uno, dos," and then he disappeared without a trace.
All right, so you're gonna do the rest of the episode yourself, I guess, is the idea? Because I'm gonna go walk into traffic now.
What is
That
what does the sorcerer in this film Nyx use when he makes a mistake?
oh my god, how many more of these do you have? You have legally you have to tell me.
He uses spell check.
Is that it? You done? Is it out your system?
And that's a segue, Khalid. What are we talking about today?
I'm gonna just request that you start like just doing pun purges before recording. um, but anyways,
I had a few for that one, yeah.
thanks for asking, Joe. Today we are talking about the 1995 fantasy film Lord of Illusions, directed by Clive Barker. And I've got a description from your homeboy Khalid, me, that goes a little something like this. Scott Bakula is a hard-boiled detective with no time for nonsense, but a lot of time for close-up magic. The world is on the line, and the only thing that can save us all is if a young Famke Janssen can outriz a demon. Spoiler alert, she does.
What a monster.
They're creatures of the abstract that live off potential energy.
It's alive!
Nice, Khalid. I like that.
Thanks.
A lot of time for magic.
Yeah, no nonsense, but close-up magic? Tell me more.
Here for that. Here for that. Yeah. All right. Before we get into some like thoughts, I got a little bit of background. To my own surprise, this is our first like Clive Barker property that we've discussed. I don't know did you know that?
Yeah, because we haven't done Hellraiser yet.
We haven't. So I just wanted to like dig into like who Clive Barker is like, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of him. He's like a well-known prolific writer, mostly exploring horror, but also like he blends it with fantasy, which is kind of like his sort of like one of his interesting like avenues. Best known for Books of Blood, short stories, which is where the Hellbound Heart, which became Hellraiser, was featured. He also wrote the original story that became Candyman. He's really known for kind of exploring themes of like queerness because he's a gay man, both directly and through allegory in his writing, specifically like about like what it means to be an outcast or to exist outside the norms of society. But he also likes to explore like sexuality in general a lot of times, like the duality of like pleasure and pain. Hellraiser is like a big example of that. So like that's kind of like his vibe. But this story specifically was based on a 1985 short story that Clive Barker wrote called The Last Illusion. And it's the introduction of this character, Harry D'Amour, this private investigator who actually goes on to appear in several of Clive Barker's stories. I don't know, several, like a few, like some other short stories. And he actually appeared in like Clive Barker's sequel to the Hellbound Heart or the Hellraiser story, facing off against Pinhead, the Pinhead character. So that's kind of cool. So, yeah, so this is the only time he ever appeared on film, but he's like a prominent character in like the Barker mythos, if you will. So with that background in mind, like Khalid, give me some thoughts. What do you think of the Lord of Illusions?
Man, this movie does not waste any time. Just jumps into what I like. When I watched it, I had to make sure that like it didn't just start in the third act because everything was like so climactic already, and it's like this like band of kids like fighting an evil wizard and all this crazy shit's going on. I'm just like, wait, we didn't get introduced to anybody yet, did we? Um, and then yeah, 13 years later, the movie starts. And yeah, I will say the back half of the movie really like everything from when Swan the magician gets like just sword fucked to death.
Yeah.
Everything from there, I was just like locked in. Up until then, I was still trying to figure out what I was watching and who all these people were. And I spent like a long time in the first half going like, okay, but like I feel like I should know who those kids and all that shit that went down at the beginning is, but nobody's saying anything. And so I think I got a little too hung up in it and didn't trust the movie because obviously by the end it makes a lot more sense. But yeah, the back half is like just such straight momentum. It just keeps going and it's so just like fun at every turn. I really love the noir element of it. I think it's a great device to like pursue all of these things. I'm a big sucker in like world building with regards to magic and like what you can and can't do with powers and stuff like that, and the fact that like some people had to use like projections and all these things that are they're also basically magic, especially for 1995, the things that they were pulling off. But you let it pass, you let it slide. It's like that Now You See Me movie where it's like, okay, all of this fake magic is just magic. But the movie just like it really just like has so much fun. It's so confidently directed. I have a vague like familiarity with Clive Barker. I'm not like fully enmeshed in his filmography, but this is a really strong contender. I think that the villains were done really well, very scary. Nyx and his like underling were just like really well done. I thought that the love triangle between Swan, Scott Bakula, and Famke Janssen's character was like really well done. The special effects, which we'll obviously get into, were just all top notch. So yeah, I mean, it reminded me of so many things like Angel, Indiana Jones, like so many different properties in like such a complimentary way that like by the end of the movie I was just smiling. It was so fun. But what about you, Joe?
I have to agree with you. Like it's so fun. Like I always talk about like 80s like sci-fi horror feeling like a home base for me sometimes, but like I'm starting to realize that there are like is an element of like these like early to mid 90s like horror that's really cool. Like this would make a good double feature with In the Mouth of Madness, that Carpenter film we talked about a while back. Like thematically and like all that stuff. I feel like
With
this would
Sam
work.
Neill, right?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
I was thinking about that one.
Yeah, right? This like I feel like they would fit well together. But like
Yeah.
yes, I agree with you. Like I loved how it just hits the ground running in the beginning, like you're saying, like that whole we're just like dropped in this story and you kind of have to just extrapolate as you go. And I feel like that element of like not knowing what's going on is sort of a hallmark of like a noir mystery where you're kind of like all these names, like I don't know how they fit together, and you're kind of with the main character in that sense. Like Scott Bakula as a detective was like, I kind of got a handle of who these names are, kind of got leads to follow, but I don't really know what's going on, and you're like we're all kind of confused until it starts to really come together. And I kind of like that. Like there isn't a whole lot of combinations of that noir horror, and when they are like going to this sort of like almost like I'll say Clive Barker esque like weird demonology like way of it. You know what I mean? Like so it's just such it does feel like it borrows from things. Like I do feel like you're like you're saying like there's some angel elements, there's some like In the Mouth of Madness elements, but like it kind of is doing its own thing, and that's super fun. Um, I love the effects. I love the characters. Loved the kind of like grossness of it too. Like I feel like Nyx as like a villain, like I don't know if I've said this before, but like sometimes there's like a villain that or like a monster that I just feel like you can smell. You know, like he's like
Yeah.
I felt like he could smell and he just was rancid. You know,
Yeah. It didn't
yeah,
help
he
that
just
his like head hole is pulsating.
right, yeah.
Ugh.
It was yeah, it was great. It was great. And I don't know. I'm a Clive Barker fan. I kind of like love Hellraiser, Nightbreed Rules, which I think we should do in the podcast sometime. He only directed 3 films, right? And a lot of his films have been or a lot of his short stories have been adapted into films, but he's only directed 3. He did Hellraiser, the first one, he did Nightbreed, and he did this one. And this one was released to like did not get critical acclaim. The studio like cut shit that he didn't want to cut, and he was pretty unhappy with this process. So he kind of stopped directing. He did produce a few things since then. He produced, I don't know if you saw Midnight Meat Train. You ever see that
No.
one with Bradley Cooper? He produced that. He produced the newest Hellraiser in 2022, I think. He helped write the Books of Blood adaptation on Hulu, but he like hasn't directed since this movie. And I kind of like, I think that's a little unfortunate because I like, we watched the director's cut and we'll get into the differences here, but I think that if he were given the tools or he was like let like if we let him like direct more, I almost feel like we might put like Clive Barker up there with like a Carpenter, you know?
That's crazy. I mean, for as much as like even I, as a layman, know who Clive Barker is, the fact that he only has 3 directing credits to his title or to his name is like really impressive. He is, in my mind at least, like a fixture in the horror genre.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I mean, he's more of a like a writer. Like he's more of a contemporary with like Stephen King than Carpenter, but he's kind of like like an intermediary between the two in a sense. Like he's did movies,
I mean, the
you
fact
know.
that he can direct, though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Hellraiser already like a bona fide like pass, green light, and
Hmm.
then this. I'm assuming that third one isn't like, even if it's not as good as these two, doesn't hurt the batting average. So, like, yeah, like he's got a leg up on Carpenter, and well, Carpenter writes though, doesn't he? Or
It
is
might
he
be both of them.
mostly
Yeah.
does he mostly direct?
I think Carpenter does both. I mean, sometimes he just directs, but sometimes he writes.
Okay, well, he's still got a leg up on Stephen King because like he writes and directs.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I agree with you though. It's our loss that we don't have more films directed by this guy
I
because
absolutely agree.
he's
Yeah.
got the
Yeah.
juice.
Yeah, I would love to see more. But like, yeah, it's like he needed like I mean, we'll get into it in a little bit, but like the director's cut was what we watched, and it made more sense. Like the stuff that they cut out made it make less sense as a movie. I
Mm.
did want to talk a little bit about this, just like the visual style of Barker is like this haunting, like grotesquerie. That's like a very specific style to him. So like Hellraiser, we kind of think of this like it's like it's gory, it's disgusting, but there's kind of this like beauty to it almost, and I think that's kind of on display here too. I also think that there's a really interesting sense of humor to this movie, which I don't know if it's intentional or not. It could be just like 90s cheese, but like there's a self-serious tone, right? Like Bakula just like super intensely saying lines. But like the scene that comes to mind for me is when they discover that the swan, the magician. So there's a magician swan who dies, quote unquote dies, and is in a coffin. And then Scott Bakula, after like, you know, certain events, goes to the coffin, opens this up, and just rips off the jaw of what we find out is a dummy, and Swan fakes his death, right? He just tears off this like mannequin's jaw to demonstrate that point, right? And I mean, like, there's a lot of ways you could demonstrate that that was a dummy, but I just thought that was such a funny, like, specific way to do it. And like turning around with the jaw in his hand, like, looks like he's not dead, right? Like,
Right? Yeah, you're really you're really rolling the dice on that theory too. You know, like
it really was, yeah. And like everyone else was upset. You're like, this is a disgrace.
because yeah, even if it was like you're yanking at that thing hard, even if it is fake. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you have
Tear that off, yeah.
It's a very convincing fake.
Right. And like, so like that was funny. I also thought the sequence where they like break into the secret room where like all the magic secrets were being held, and there's like you said, the projection, like there was like the traps to find the magic secrets, like that was also like really funny, I thought. Like, but it's played in such a like a serious, earnest way, and I don't know if that was intentional or not. It could not be. But for me, like watching it, like I was laughing, and I was like just smiling during those scenes. It was super fun.
I agree that it definitely was a lot of stuff that was just like funny to me, and it's hard for me to be like, oh, it was unintentionally funny. It just feels like they understood what they were doing.
Right.
A big thing for me is just I always love when like you got like a guy in a like a regular guy in a fantastical magical like situation because
Mhm.
he just has a gun, and it's always it's so funny because it's like yeah, like you're just always gonna go to the gun, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be uneven results. And like I just remember when he was like shooting at the fire that was chasing him,
Yeah.
and it's
That
like
was
he's
great
got
too.
like a 6 shooter, and like he's not that good of a shot. Like at one point he's like shooting the thing that the projection is like emanating from, and it takes like 3 bullets before he hits it.
That was explicitly. I feel like there was a point to be made there. Like he takes him 3 shots to shoot the projection, right? And
Yeah.
like then there was like a scene at the end, and I think wasn't when he gives like Famke Jensen the gun instead to like shoot Nyx's like
Yeah,
third
and
eye
she
or whatever.
like, yeah,
She should have
aces
won.
it.
She won. Yeah, and I'm like, that was funny because like it's almost a callback, like a subtle callback to the fact that he couldn't make it in one, and so he's like, you do it instead.
It's kind of like in Fury Road when Max keeps missing the sniper shot, so he finally
Yeah,
gives it to Furiosa. Yeah, no,
yeah.
feminist ally Scott Bakula,
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
doing what he can, you know, stepping aside, letting the woman do what she does best, uh, point blank headshots.
As he should, as he should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, like, because you already kind of touched on it. What do you think of like the sexy element to this movie? Because I know you touched on it overall that like that's kind of Clive Barker's bag is like sex with sadism and stuff like that. But like, I definitely flag that. Like, this is easily one of the sexiest movies we've ever done on the pod.
It's up there. I think that is in keeping with Clive Barker's vibe. Like I said, like he is somebody who from what I've read, and I could see people saying that this is wrong. He's somebody who's openly part of like the BDSM community. Like he likes to do like sexual like weird stuff, which, and I don't say weird in a like a negative way. Like he just likes to do weird things, but he likes to write about how like things that, you know, sexually could be like on the outside, you know, he just likes to put that in his stories, right? You know, like um I think that in the 90s the only way you could kind of put those in movies if they're like the villains doing it, unfortunately. So like I think maybe Clive Barker, if he were to be like up and coming now, he would have been like, it would have been more restructured, but like he was kind of like working uh within the world that he existed in at the time. He was writing in the 80s, right? Like, you know, being gay was kind of criminalized still in a lot of the modern world, you know, and like, so it's a very like I still think he brought a very progressive mindset to like what he presented. Like we see like this movie is very horny and very sexy, and like, but we also see I clocked it in the sequence where there was the magic show at the Pantages Theater, right? Like there was a lot of like sexy outfits who were doing the dance sequence, and in any other movie that would have been like all women, right? But it was like
Mm.
a mixture of men and women, right? And I think that's a Clive Barker touch specifically. And we also see like I don't know if there's a explicit like female nudity in this movie, but they're like we do see a penis.
Yeah, I don't like, there's some females like exposed tops. I don't think we see like full nudity with women.
Right. Yeah.
And we see a lot of areolas poking through. Like
I
if
think
there's
that's
one
it. Yeah.
if there's one thing this movie hates, it's bras, and it's it's evident.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
But like, but I think that, yeah, I think like the in terms of like horniness and showing like depicting like bodies, like when you go to a 90s movie, you kind of almost expect there to be some like balance towards like, okay, yeah, we're probably going to be more horny towards the women, right? Like that's just like men are directing, and that's usually what's going on. But I think that there was like almost like a little bit more of an a little bit more of an even
No,
scale
it's
here.
way more even scale. Like honestly,
Yeah.
I did not know that Clive Barker was queer, but like I did like clock in the movie like Scott Bakula is like is serving just as much, if not more, than Famke in a lot of these scenes. Like,
Right, right.
you know, and he's got like that awesome, like not like that new, like I only eat like saltless, skinless chicken breast until I'm 0% body fat, like new wave hot guy. It's like old 80s, 90s, like dad bod, like I could fix a Trans Am kind of bod. Like he really like, because I feel like even when you're talking about like the male directors from the 90s and stuff like that that did try to like show off the male physique, it was always like jokingly like talked about how it was like unintentionally gay, like when they would like really come off as hot, you know what I mean?
Right.
With this it's like no, he's just a gay dude that knows like what looks good and knows how to shoot it, and God bless him for it. You know, there's no layers between him and the eye. Like the male gaze it looks evenly on other males and females in this movie, and it's very evident.
Yeah, exactly. Another reason we needed more Clive Barker movies.
Yes, yes, I do think that yeah, I mean, I feel like he's probably up there with like the Wachowskis in terms of like queer filmmakers that just like really like just like land the point home of like what diversity in filmmaking like does at its best.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. And I bet he would be honored to hear you say that too.
You're welcome, Clive. You're my favorite Clive.
What up, Clive?
Aw.
So I did want to talk a little bit about how this one differs from the short story. So in the story, The Last Illusion, Harry D'Amour, who Scott Bakula plays in this, is meant to guard the body of the dead illusionist Swan by Dorothea, the character. So this leads him to confrontation with demons, and Butterfield is actually the main antagonist in the book. So in the movie, Nyx was created specifically for the script. When they were creating the film, there was news of this like cult called the Order of the Solar Temple. Have you heard of that?
No. I was thinking
Yeah, I
about
mean,
it like, have I?
no. So this was like fresh. It was in the 90s. So this was a cult that was kind of like grew to prominence in the 90s from Switzerland, I believe. And they were kind of like in the world of like mass deaths and kind of like mass suicides in the 90s. So Clive Barker read about this and kind of was kind of like interested in exploring more of that idea in the film. So he kind of pulled and created this Nyx character like from that, and like was like, I'm gonna add this element to the script and like put this into the story and add this like other like kind of culty element, which is really like a big part of it. So like, and I kind of like changed the whole, I mean, like the magical noir element is there, but like it kind of changed a lot of the themes of it too. So it's kind of interesting. So I thought that was kind of interesting. What do you think of that? Like the idea of this like cult element?
I liked it, honestly. I think that noir is one of those genres that once you like add just like one more like factor to it, it can really just like hit the ground running, especially like this far into media where like we're just so familiar with that genre. Like the ways to subvert it are what's exciting for me now. So in this regard, I loved all the cult stuff. I thought that setting it in Los Angeles was very apropos. I think that there's something really poignant about this idea of like uh people like following a charismatic like yet clearly evil force in service of spectacle in a place like Los Angeles is just like so it can be hit the nail on the head if done wrong, but this movie like sidesteps that. One part that really got me was when he comes back from the dead, Nyx, and his followers are there, and he's like prove you like our followers and be like suffer for me or whatever, and they all like drop on their knees in front of like broken glass and just like
Mhm.
crawl on the glass in their knees, and I'm just like, that's a really good touch. It's the kind of thing that like in lesser hands, the cult aspect of this movie would really just be used to further the plot, and this movie really like sells you on that just as much as every other part of it.
Yeah, they really gave character like I don't want to say characterization, like they didn't give 'em much, but they kind of like made each a lot of the cult members kind of like interesting in some way, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, like the sequence where they were all kind of like coming back to LA from wherever they were, like there was the snake guy or whatever, like they all had like little like themes or whatever. There was like the housewife who like murdered her family, which was fucking dark, by the way.
I mean, now that we're talking about it, is this just Harry Potter? Is this Voldemort? Like, I
So
feel like
okay,
the
so great. This is so funny that you bring it up. So Nikki and I were watching this together, and she said the exact same thing. She said Butterfield is Wormtail, which he is, right?
yeah.
Like, and then there was a scene where he puts where they put the robe on Nyx, and like that is Harry Potter. Like, how many times are we coming up with a movie where like J.K. Rowling obviously saw this,
100%. Nyx
right?
is very Voldemort coded.
Yeah,
Yeah. I honestly,
or
I
Voldemort
what
is Nyx coded.
whatever we can do to cast doubt on her legacy as a writer, I'm for. No, I mean, it's a very popular idea in fantasy adventure and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I could not help but like, especially now as we're talking about it and thinking of like, I think the thing I keep getting hung up on is like, dude was just gone for 13 years. Like, it's like 2.5 presidents. It's not even that bad.
Yeah. No.
But but then it just like I think that spun me out to like, oh yeah, that's kind of like Harry Potter, where he's like Voldemort's just gone for like 12 years.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah. And like, yeah, I don't know. Like Nikki said, the Wormtail character, like, or the Butterfield character is like like, yeah, he's kind of like despicable, like sneaking in the shadows, like, I don't know, this like assistant. I almost was like reminded though too, like, of that relationship, that Butterfield Nick's relationship, again, like Wormtail Voldemort, like, is like a Renfield Dracula relationship, isn't it? Like that's kind of a motif that we do see in genre storytelling over and over and over again.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I think I always go back to like the Disney archetypal villains and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
their little like sidekicks, like Jafar and Iago. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. Great point. Great point.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think that it's always better when you're like primary characters can bounce off of somebody and that somebody
Hmm.
is like very clearly subservient to them. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to question the dynamics so that the repartee is quick. Um but that's just me being a boring writer and thinking about it that way.
I think that
Uh
makes sense.
yeah. What did you think of speaking of unintentionally funny things, this one was definitely intentionally funny. Right after Swan gets like dies from the sword trick, and they're backstage, and Bacula's character is like getting like chased by Butterfield, and I think it's like one other dude, and like the one dude's got like I think he's got Bacula's gun, and he's like shooting it at him, and then like Bacula's like got like blood in his eyes. He's like dazed. He looks up. There's a rope and a pulley. Where does it go? Who knows? Yanks that shit and impales the dude with something that was not there before. What a sequence of
Oh,
events. Like
that was amazing. That's like the only thing you could make like work in, like, oh, it was a magic show, so it's just there.
it's just there and it's pulley activated and you can pull it strong enough to go through a man's chest.
Oh, God. And it
Like
pours out sand
it was
afterwards.
like on wheels. It wasn't even like it was like clipped to like the rafters and then swung down and hit him. It just like on wheels somehow went fast enough to like just impale him.
Also, like the like shooting happens and death happens underneath the scene where Swan was killed and police are.
Yo, I'm gonna call bullshit on that too. Like, as a magician, I understand having faith in me and my act, but like by the third sword impaling, like going through me, and like I'm clearly in distress and arteries are getting hit, you can come on stage. You can like swat one or two of the swords.
You could stop it. Yeah. Did you
When
recognize the Swan actor?
he looked a lot like that dude, the no offense, none taken guy in Community.
I don't know if he's that guy. He's Benny from The Mummy.
Who's Benny?
The Brendan Fraser's little buddy who keeps betraying him.
Oh, yeah, I didn't recognize that. Doesn't he have like brown
Yeah,
face in that movie?
he does. He's also Igor in Van Helsing. We did that movie on the
Oh, I
podcast. Yeah.
do recognize him now. Yes, yes. Okay, so he's like he's new. He's not new to this. He's true to
No,
this.
he's not due to this. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't recognize him as Benny from The Mummy. I thought you loved that movie.
I enjoyed it, but I've seen so many movies since.
Fair, fair, fair. Yeah, but did you realize? You probably did. It's probably not that big of a deal for you, but the magic show where he's like getting impaled by the swords, like actually was filmed on location at the Pantages Theater in Hollywood.
I don't know that I've ever actually been to the Pantages, so I'll have to take your word for it. But it was really cool seeing like all
It
the
was super cool.
LA landmarks and stuff. I'm sure you having
Yeah,
been a couple times now. You were like, oh, I know that.
I think there's something to be said. Like there's like a quality of like 90s LA noir. Like that's like almost like a subgenre in itself. And like the fact that it was like pulling from that and like doing all this horror stuff was pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Were you also excited to see the Magic Castle?
I was wondering if they were gonna go there, and then they went there, and it lived up to my hopes. That old guy just doing the hand tricks
That was so good.
at the bar. It's like, oh
He
yeah,
was great.
he just wants a friend. It seems like
That old
literally
guy ruled.
anybody could have come up to him, and he would have probably helped.
So, listeners, Khalid and I have gone to the Magic Castle. We were there. We got in, had a great time. It was a blast, and so it was really fun to see like those locations. I thought.
True that. True that. I still like to this day like Magic Castle is one of the coolest things I've gotten to do out here.
I know. I feel like when we went, like it was like kind of a low key night. Like I don't know if we went on a weeknight. Like Nikki and I went once when we were in LA, like years and years and years ago, and it was like hopping, like hard, like tons of people there. Like it was like this, where like you went to the bar and people were just doing tricks, right?
Yeah.
But like when you and I went, I feel like it was kind of like chill and there wasn't a whole lot going on, you know. But we were able to meander through the whole place like pretty freely with that, which that was also kind of cool, you know. So like different experiences, but I love that. I love the old guy. So that's a good segue though into like the stuff that was changed from the director's cut to the theatrical cut. So like the theatrical cut out we normally expect like maybe they cut out like extra gore or extra like, you know, horror sequences, but they actually cut out plot stuff more than anything. Um we didn't talk about the Valentine character. The Valentine character is like Famke Jensen's assistant or like Swan's assistant who like kind of hires Bakula at first. They cut out all the sequences where like he initially like goes to Scott Bakula's like hotel and says like we want you for this job and takes him to the job. Like all of that was cut in the director's cut. So like we have a jump from like Scott Bakula just taking the job in the graveyard, right?
Mm.
And so that's weird. We also right, like I don't know, like it doesn't like plot wise it just like feels like it doesn't make sense. Like we need that the lead up. The Magic Castle sequence in the beginning where Scott Bakula meets the older fellow before getting into the room with all the other magicians, like that whole part at the bar was cut in the theatrical cut as well. We didn't see that.
Mm.
So which that part ruled. I love that. I love that old guy.
Old guy ruled. No, yeah, it's always baffling when like the stuff they're cutting is like just like crucial plot stuff, but
Right.
you know, it's a too many cooks situation.
Yeah, and I think it sounds like that's what like Clive Barker was kind of frustrated about. Like he was frustrated about like the lack of autonomy on like this set. Like he didn't like what was sent to see theaters. He did make an agreement that he could release the director's cut after the fact. So he was like, my full vision like got the release it deserved. But also I think he was really bummed that like the critical reception to this was not very good either. So he was kind of like, I'm out right after this.
That's fair. I mean, it's especially if it's like something you think is good, like you feel very good about it and it doesn't connect, like that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think it's fair. It's too bad. And I think, and like I said, like it'd be great if we got more Clive Barker films, but like the fact that we got Hellraiser, we got Nightbreed, which you haven't seen yet, which we'll do in this podcast eventually, and this movie, like we got 3 like bangers, I think.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
The only other thing I kept thinking about throughout this movie, and the joke is from a show that was like over 20 years ago at this point, but the Arrested Development joke where Job, every time somebody like says he's doing like magic tricks,
Yeah, I know.
like just like especially when Famke Jansen's assistant is like telling him like it's illusions, it's not magic. Like all I could think was like it's just like a trick is something a whore does for money, Michael.
Yep.
Which problematic for a lot of reasons, not shaming sex workers or anything, just quoting a very funny like wordplay joke from a show.
I still gotta say, like that has one of my favorite like bits with that like that whole like joke about the illusion, like when Charlize Theron walks across the pool. Is this one of your Is this one of your tricks, Job? No. End credits. On the next, it's an illusion.
And then Tobias's hair's on fire, but he can't get in the water.
So why can't I get underwater?
Yeah, listeners at home, if you've never seen it, it's just as entertaining as we just pitched
so
it. Honestly, you don't
funny.
even need to
Yeah.
watch it. The way we
Yeah.
just described it is probably the same.
It's peak.
Same
It's peak.
effect. Yeah.
Mitch Hurwitz, eat your heart out.
We're basically the cast of Arrested Development.
Truly. On that note, shall we monster?
Let's do it.
So the special and makeup effects were primarily handled by K&B EFX Group and Steve Johnson's XFX Inc. So as we've talked about before, K&B is a friend of the podcast, Howard Berger's group.
Howard.
So Howard directly had a hand in making this. So K&B, Howard's group, did most of the practical makeup effects. Steve Johnson, a different group, handled the mold making and other special effects aspects. There were certainly CGI elements in this, as you notice. Like you talked about when Scott Bakula was shooting at fire, that was some CGI. There was also that moment in that sequence when he was shooting at the fire. There was like a person, like a man, who like unfolded and then refolded. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, that was sick.
That was super cool. Like you could tell it was CGI, but it was like a really cool thing. They were like, we can't do that practically, so they did that with CGI. They called him the Origami Man, which
makes sense.
Yeah, but that was like, I think that was like a really cool, like out of the ballpark kind of like use of CGI, where it's like we could do a lot of these things practically, but that won't work. So like do that with some weird computer graphics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so like our main villain that we're going to talk about is Nyx the Puritan. And Nyx is a sorcerer as well as the leader of his own fanatic black magic cult who possesses magical abilities. He can get into people's minds and make them see twisted, like grotesque visions of like what's around them. So that's kind of one of the things I noticed, that like when he did that effect, like that was a cool practical effect when he would like put his like fingers into the people's minds. He did to Swan, and it's like what they did in the new Deadpool movie, except like
but it looks way better.
Right?
Like,
Yeah, way better.
1995 looks way better than a like $100-250 million movie that just came out. I was like, what the fuck?
Right, it's the same concept, right? It's cool. Yeah, that was really cool. I love that, and I love that like once he did it to you, like Swan and Bakula, after like the way that they saw people was so fucked up and like such a cool, like, you know, like Clive Barker, like almost Lovecraftian way, where it's like you only see like people like peeled apart in like gelatin molds or something weird and gross.
I thought that was a really cool
effect. Then the other thing we got with Nyx. So like Nyx starts off as just a dude, who played by the actor Daniel von Bargen. Did you recognize him at all?
Yeah, fucking Commandant Spangler.
Commandant Spangler. Yes, I was hoping you recognized that. Yeah, he's a great that guy character actor. Yes,
I love him, and I'm glad that he got to be like, he's right up there with like Rip Torn in that Ultimate Beastmaster movie. Like, truly, just like, it's like the gravelly voice and everything like that. Like, you could simultaneously like have him just like reenact the Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth scene, or you could have him be like a fantasy villain and it works.
Yeah, he fucking rules. He's so fun. Like, he's one of the, like, we've talked about on this podcast multitudes of times of how I think you and I both have this like intense appreciation for like character actors and like that guy actors who are just coming in, doing the work, doing cool shit. They're not like the Tom Cruise's household names, but like they're the Daniel von Bargens, right? Like they're the Stephen Roots of the world.
Hell yeah. I love it. No, say it with your chest. No, character actors, you're doing the Lord's work. You make movies like elevate and become more than just content.
Right. So anyway, Daniel von Bargen had to like he had to get like body casting done to make like a prosthetic dummy for the Nyx body before he got resurrected. So like when they pulled out the body, that was all body casting. He there's a really cool video, and I'll share it with you. It's like from the Sci-Fi Channel at the time. They did like this like little documentary about this movie, like as it was being released, where he was like, I had to do a lot of makeup, but it was really cool after doing the body casting. I could see all this like weird shit being done to me, and I got to just watch from the sidelines. But so like the body, a lot of that stuff was being done like practically to like a dummy.
Mm.
Um, but so anyway, like in the world, he gets this like metal mask that's put onto his like face, and this is supposed to be like a binding, because as we mentioned throughout the movie, death is an illusion, right? And this character who's actually has magic can like come back from death. And so this metal mask they put on in the beginning is supposed to keep him from returning. And so when they finally dig him up and they remove the metal mask, it's like
Which was an
mold.
amazing sequence.
So cool. The mask is cool. The putting on the mask and removing the mask is cool. That's actually another thing the director's cut added was like the sequences of like the nails coming in and out and like the blood dripping, like that kind of like
I could have watched
close-ups.
10 more minutes of it. They could have just kept
That was
adding bolts to take out.
right. It's so cool. Like that
Yeah.
was so cool. Anyway, so they take off the mask and the mask makes this like grotesque rotted look to his face, which is kind of like what gives us the monster element that we're all here for, right? And so he's kind of like, I almost want to say jester like, but it's kind of like white and like brown, and like I mentioned earlier, like it feels like you can smell him, right? He's just rotted.
Yes.
Disgusting.
Yes. It's like if you took a cast off after a summer.
Truly, that's what it is. Yes.
Like that smell.
But 13 years
But 13 years.
underground. Yeah.
And
It's
it was
gross.
a rotting corpse.
Yeah, it's great. And it's so good. Like, I love it. They got like red eyes. There's a part like I was doing a lot of research into this and I couldn't find a whole lot. Like I'm sure the Blu-rays and the everything have more like commentaries, but like the third eye effect that he had like in his forehead was really, really well done. Like I know that there's some prosthetics and a little like CGI enhancement to it, but that looked like really, really cool. I thought like in camera.
Props to the Cam-B team. That was
Yeah.
really some top-notch special effects work.
Absolutely, absolutely, and and like Clive Barker talked about in this documentary that I'll share it in the notes, but that the metal mask itself was actually a nod to a 1960 horror film called Black Sunday, which was about a witch, and in that movie, in the beginning, they nail this metal mask to the witch character to like burn her at the stake, kind of thing. So like it was kind of a reference to that, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so visually.
Hell yeah. No, the visuals definitely stuck the landing. It was sick. I love the temple and everything.
The temple was great. Like that, yeah, like we had a lot of this like Hollywood imagery, like you're saying, like LA Hollywood imagery, but then like we go to this like desert, Mojave Desert kind of place with this like house, which I guess has electricity. I did note that like, are they like they had light bulbs working?
Yes, they did have light bulbs.
but like it's like this weird fucked up like gross house in the middle of the desert where they all like they tear their hair out. Remember that? Like it's gross. Like that whole house was disgusting. Like I could smell that house too.
Just a bunch of ball-headed scallywags.
Oh, when he makes them like fall into the ground, he's like, "Oh, you're all not worthy," right? Like they like quicksand in. Love the sequence of the guy like flicking him off and being like, "Fuck you."
Oh no, this clearly evil guy is being evil to us.
It was so funny. Like again, like I keep coming back to like I don't know if the humor was intentional, but like seeing that, I'm like, yeah, it probably was.
It just, I don't know. Again, though, it's like such a real LA thing. You know what I mean? It's like, years after everyone knew to stay away from Kanye West, he was still having like packed out Sunday services that people would like go to and like go to like 4-hour jam sessions with like a guy that would like just say the wildest shit in between like praise songs. And it's just like, yeah, I don't think him having like evil voodoo powers would have like been a deal breaker either.
Great comparison. You heard it here. Nyx is Kanye West.
I don't know if we got to insult Nyx like that. I don't think he's like that transparently bad.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he has some redeeming qualities.
Oh my god. It's like Sinners. I'm a vampire, but at least I'm not a Klansman.
Shit, you ain't said nothing but a word.
Oh man. Yeah, that was great. That was great. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, indeed. Yeah. I wanted to say though that I just appreciated like the look. So like in the universe, like the idea that the mask kind of made him have this like monstrous kind of look. They like, but the makeup that they put on him, like I appreciate that. Like it feels like a Barker-esque. I don't know if anyone's used that term, Barker-esque, like baddie. You know, like we say Pinhead, right? We have the Cenobites from Hellraiser,
Mm.
and like that kind of like imagery of like those creepy, terrifying like faces, like otherworldly things. Nightbreed is a similar thing where it has like these terrifying, like otherworldly monsters, even though they turn out to be not the villains. But like I thought Nyx was like a good, like Barker-esque looking villain. Like I thought that was like a cool like makeup effect, and I think that the actor Daniel von Bargen was really good. Like I think he was criticized in like early reviews, being like, "Oh, he's a random character actor who doesn't have the gravitas," but I thought he ruled, and
He
like so
kicked ass.
I thought he kicked ass. And I think like the makeup of it, like the look of it, like is right up there, like with a great like Barker-esque villain. That's what I'm gonna say about that.
No, it's super like cool the way it's like the inside of an Iron Maiden helmet is like imprinted on him. I think that's just like that's a really cool thing to draw inspiration from and kind of like gives the world a little bit more texture. You know what I mean? Like those things would leave a mark. Whereas like a lot of like big budget movies, when like you put somebody in like a thing like that, they come out of it like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that like his world is tactile and that like the characters interact with it and it like leaves marks. Um, yeah, no, his look, his performance, everything. No, Nyx was a solid villain for me. I would say 8 out of 10 off like just right now, based off of like my reaction to the movie.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Uh, Speaking of solid things, Khalid,
Ew.
would you fight or would you flirt with Nyx to get out of certain doom?
Have been thinking about this because, as we have said a couple of times now, this is a sexy, sexy movie.
Very sexy.
A lot of it has nothing to do with Nyx. Um,
Very little sexiness is with Nyx, yeah.
yeah, if anything, he's kind of annoyed at how sexy everything is when he's not around. He's like, "This is clearly distracting you. We we have a mission, and you're all horned up because of this lady." Uh, but I don't know that all that in mind. I think I would. I'll cut to the chase. I'd fight Nyx, and I wouldn't flirt him specifically because, like, you saw what he did to his most devoted followers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think at my most devoted, I'm gonna like kneel into broken glass. So it's like if he's gonna do that to the people that would kneel in broken glass, like I feel like there's only so much devotion I could throw at him that I would like avoid that fate. So, and yeah, man, just like shoot him in the little like the forehead anus. You know what I mean? Like that puckered up little forehead anus. It feels like even if Bakula didn't tell me to shoot that, I would just like instinctively shoot that. It just looks really vulnerable. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's the kind of like magical, powerful thing where it's just like you might as well take your shot at him because like it's not like you're gonna like talk him out of killing you. So yeah, I don't know. It feels like a no brainer to fight him because I don't think I could like diplomacy or flirt my way out.
I'm glad you I sighed a little bit because I was like, man, the third eye really looked like a butthole.
It looked a lot like a butthole, but not in any way that like changed my decision.
I'm glad you clarified.
And
Yeah.
that's all I gotta say about that.
Yes, great points. Great points. Well said. Well said. I love it. This was a really fun one. I was really excited to like I know like in our podcast we do a lot of episodes with guests where we like bring in like movies that guests suggest, but like I watched this movie a long time ago, loved it, and I was really excited to kind of like bring it to you, but I was also like hesitant, like I don't know if Khalid will like this movie. Like, is this going to be a weird Joe thing that I just like, you know, because you're always like, oh, you like it, even though it's bad. But like, it, I'm so happy that you liked it.
Hey, I fuck with it. I was also like hesitant to start it because I was just like, oh man, is this gonna be like a slog or something? And Nah, man. Like it really, if anything, reinvigorated my love for new media. I want to watch more. I want to watch more random ass shit I never even heard of.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Let's move on to our final segment of the show, our what the fandom segment, in which we share a couple things that we are just into at the moment. Khalid, what the fandom with you?
Thanks for asking, Joe. My what the fandom this week is going to be season 2 of the Peacock series Poker Face. It's created by Ryan Johnson, starring Natasha Lyonne. I definitely did my what the fandom on season 1 whenever that came out. Season 2 is just out the gate. I think so. As of now, there's like 4 episodes out, and it's star-studded. It's really fun writing. It harkens to like those old detective shows like Columbo, and it's just, yeah, I think that we are, at least people of my age are like at a point now where like we can justifiably be nostalgic for like the TV of yore, because like we've just been through like such a smorgasbord of like experimental television for like the last like 10-15 years. So like to just see a show just like earnestly like play with these tools that are like so much associated with the past and unashamedly do so is just really nice to see. And especially with somebody like Ryan Johnson, who is just, for my money, he is like one of those creatives that like we are blessed to like know how talented he is and get to see like what he still has in store. Like he has had such a fantastic career up until now, and Poker Face included in that. And so like it's really cool to see like his journey as an artist through the things that he chooses to do. And I really love that one of the things he likes to do is like pay homage to what came before and like bring it into the future with us. So yeah, season 2 of Poker Face. Also Natasha Lyonne, delightful lead. She is just can't fail. Such a charming actress. Uh, really, just like what you want in a TV lead. Like you can't get enough of them. You want to keep watching them. So yeah, my what the fandom this week is season 2 of Poker Face. Go watch it. And Joe, what the fandom with you?
Hell yeah, Khalid. Good recommendation. Didn't the first season have that cool one about like monster effects too?
It did. Season 2 also kind of does some movie inside Hollywood type stuff.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the like the creature effects people that collaborate with this podcast or like interact with this podcast have posted lots of positive things about that show. So people who like this show, like listen to us, would like that, I'm sure.
Oh, totes.
Yeah. I guess for me, I haven't had a lot of time lately, but I've been currently reading. I'll just say what I'm reading through recently. I'm reading a book series that's an incredibly popular book series that does not need recommendations, but it's the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. Have you heard of this, Khalid?
From you, I think.
Probably. It's kind of like a big book in the like romanticy like genre. The idea that's fantasy but like romantic and kind of sexy. um i I know that there's like, I feel like there's like people who are big fans of like genre, like fantasy genre, who like dismiss books like this because they're like, oh, it's super popular and like, poppy. But like I started reading it, and it's kind of got, for those who like fantasy, it's got elements of like Wheel of Time, elements of Beauty and the Beast. It's not the most like super clever and inventive, but it's like, I think it's a really fun fantasy adventure. Like I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of got this reputation for being like sexy and horny. Like that's kind of like what its thing is, like, oh, like, like the vibe that people kind of have of like these books, like, oh, women read them because they're like horny fantasy books, and they kind of are, but there's like great like political stuff. Like if you like Game of Thrones, you'd probably dig this. Like political maneuverings. It's about like the Fey world and the human world and like differences there, and like romance and politics and all sorts of crazy shit. Weird. There's actually some weird, cool monsters in it, and I've been enjoying that. So I'm actually on book 2 right now. Book 2 is A Court and Mist and Fury, and I've actually really been digging that even more than the first book. So I'm into it. I'm digging it. And I kind of like, I just want to take that chance to make a statement. Like, yes, it is popular, and there's a lot of people who are like big into the genre who are like, oh, it's like stupid because it's popular, and like but I'm like, I don't know, anything that's gets people like reading and gets people excited about books. Like I'm totally for that. Like it's by Sarah J. Maas. Like she did a good job with it. Like I think people are excited about fantasy. People are excited about like this like world and this genre. Like I'm all for that. So like, yes, I'm going to read that. Yes, I'm going to support that. It is super fun. Not the most deep book I've ever read, but I'm enjoying it. So I'm going to continue with the series. So read that if you're into some horny like fairy shit. I'm all about it. I do want to give a second shout out to another thing, very different than anything I have shouted out before. But Nicole and I just recently went to the store and got a very cool sparkling water. We are big fans of sparkling water lately. I think you are too, Khalid, right?
Yeah, I'm still a fan. Had a San
Yeah,
Pellegrino this morning.
big sparkling water fan. But Portage Brewing up here in Minnesota, it's like way up north, like past Duluth. Um, has this new like relative, I'm saying new, it's like 2 years old, but they have this like sparkling water that they brought out called sauna water. It's non-alcoholic. It's like a botanical sparkling water, and the vibe is like, oh, it's going to celebrate like sauna culture in like the north when it's like super cold. And they like kind of take, instead of like sparkling water with like fruit, it's like spruce tips, cardamom, like juniper berries, lemon, and allspice. And it's like this really cool blend of stuff. And as like a person who like, I'm trying to like not drink pop as much or like soda, and I'm like drinking more sparkling water. Like we got that, and I'm like, oh man, like this is a really
Sparkling water
cool.
is a great hack for your brain. Like
It totally
if
is.
you got
It
that
totally is.
soda craving, it really scratches the itch.
It really is. And like sauna water, like it's spendy, but like we got a 6 pack, and we're like, I put like a couple in our fridge, and I put a couple in our like like we have like a downstairs like extra like mini fridge, put some away to save for later. But like once a week, like bringing those out, like they are really cool and really tasty. So like sauna water from Portage Brewing in Minnesota, highly recommended.
Ooh, okay, all right, putting this on. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, so that's my fandom for the week. So yeah. Anyway, Khalid, you wanna give us a Patreon shout out and close us out?
Yeah. Check us out, y'all. If you want to support us and enjoy what we do, we also have Patreon where you can become a patron. We have a couple of different tiers, as low as $1, as high as $7. Every little bit really does help. It goes directly to us and our passion in serving you guys just like hot content. Joe has already been able to use some of the Patreon funds to purchase a microphone, so thank you all so much for that. We also offer additional hot content. We don't only want to talk about creature features this many years in, we also like to talk about other things. And so we use the Patreon as a springboard to talk about all kinds of cool random things. And yeah, there's a lot of goodies over there. So definitely do yourself a favor and check out the Patreon. And yeah, with that, thank you all for listening to another episode of Frankenstein's podcast. It's always a pleasure to do this for you guys. Thank you, Joe, for another awesome discussion. And until next time, creep it easy.